I called and didn't get an answer. Now I have taken. Yeah, he does. He should. Is there a power out there? I've charged this thing all afternoon, so the battery shouldn't be dead.
Yeah, down here. Just like you. That was a
This is kind of. I got older, but you didn't.
Yeah, I know. See, I retired.
There you go. I say, let's go.
Busy. The world's biggest honeydew or something. Yeah.
Make sure this is still me.
Way to switch on you. What were you doing?
Yeah, it's good.
I was the program sergeant for Digging before he moved on.
What's
Before
he
that,
doing now?
He's over patrol. Some special projects with them over there.
Out of Salem?
Yeah.
On Hoffman.
I spent my street time at INET in Eugene.
Okay.
And then went to DEA in Eugene. So I did
With that crazy
almost
guy?
7 years.
What's his name?
Who was you need to
If he
narrow
gets,
the
if he
field
gets
a
with
little
an
bit.
S. He ran for office.
Couldn't leave for one reason or another.
Do you know who I'm talking about? I'm trying to remember his name. Who's the crazy guy in Eugene from DEA? Do you remember? Spotto?
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about now?
yeah, I do.
Is that an inaccurate description?
Safe to see.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for coming. I'm Jeffrey Riley, the host of the Jefferson Exchange on Jefferson Public Radio. So welcome to the very first Jefferson Public Radio Mail Tribune Forum. This is designed as a forum to illuminate and discuss issues of interest to people in the state of Jefferson. Judging by the turnout, this is an issue of interest. Tonight, measuring marijuana. November's election offers a rare synchronicity between Oregon and California in that both states are voting on ballot measures to expand the availability of marijuana. Oregon's Measure 74 would expand the state's medical marijuana program to include dispensaries, much like California has now. California's Proposition 19 would essentially legalize marijuana possession and cultivation for adults 21 and up and allow it to be taxed and regulated much like alcohol. We've designed tonight's forum to cover what the world is like now and what it would potentially be like should one or the other or both of the measures pass. Tonight is not meant to be strictly an airing of praise or complaints for either measure. We have 4 panelists and, well, so far one questioner. One of the holdups tonight was we're waiting for Damian Mann of the Mail Tribune to appear. We're confident he will eventually. So let me introduce our panelists, starting with the end. Tim George has crossed out his information, but he has been his day job, a deputy chief with the Medford Police Department. We also have Leland Berger, who is an attorney with the NORML Legal Committee and a number of other jobs that he'll describe in a moment. Erik Fisher is a sergeant with the Oregon State Police. And Leslie Wilde is with Green Collar Compassionate Collective in Dunsmuir, which is a dispensary she runs there. Over here from the Mail Tribune, Bob Hunter is the editor, and Damian Mann, the player to be named later. Thank you all for coming tonight. Probably bears some explanation. The reason Tim George has crossed out his identifying information is because you may be aware that under Oregon law, people in public positions are not supposed to be commenting pro or con on election measures in their office. There's already been a complaint filed against Tim George. He figures that since he's here as a private citizen tonight, we can get around that whole thing. Erik Fish, if you'd like to borrow the Sharpie, that's fine too.
No, I don't think that'll be necessary.
All right, thanks.
I won't be for or against.
All right.
I'm neutral.
Bob Hunter and David Mann of the Mail Tribune, I mentioned, if you missed it, the Mail Tribune led up to tonight's forum with a fine series of stories in the paper on measuring marijuana. For that, I'd like to give credit to Anita Burke, Chris Conrad, Paul Fadig, and Damian Mann. Kathy Noah coordinated the series as well. And much of the credit for bringing everyone together in this room tonight goes to our producer at the Jefferson Exchange, Lisa Polito. Please join me in thanking all these people. Now, in terms of where you can see this when you're not here tonight, and again, thank you very much for coming, we do plan on taking an edited version of tonight's audio and running it on the Jefferson Exchange on October 25th, which will put us a week before the election. And there's also a live video stream and a live blog on the Mail Tribune tonight. Some of the questions will come from them, and of course some will come from you, hence the microphone in the middle aisle. We'd like you to come up to the microphone when you have a question that you'd like to ask of one of the panel members. We do have available for us as well Jim Clark, the co-chief petitioner for Proposition 74, sitting right next to the microphone in the white jacket. Jim, thank you for joining us tonight. Just to kick things off, let's get a brief excursion of the panel, starting with the end. Tim George, tell us about the ways in which you have come in contact with marijuana, legal and not, in your job.
Well, I am a deputy chief with the Medford Police Department. This is year Am I loud enough?
Bob just needs to move away from his microphone.
Sorry, I found our lost reporter.
Okay, we found Damien. Is he
Anyways,
okay?
starting year 34 in the business. The reason it's crossed out here is because one of my personal opinions might eke out tonight, and that would be my opinion, and I would tell you it was my opinion, and I am certainly not representing the Medford Police Department tonight, but I can't erase my memory as a law enforcement officer. That is my profession, so I will speak to some experiences, but if the opinions leak out, they'll be my opinions.
Understood, thank you. Leland
Also-
Berger, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say also a community member and a father of 2 children, and married to a school teacher.
Okay, good to know. Leland Berger, you were explaining just before the meeting tonight that there's actually several different affiliations you have here that we can talk about. So give us a brief rundown on you and the expertise you bring to the panel.
I'd be glad to, Jeffrey. And actually, the first thing I wanted to do is, respectfully, I wanted to correct what you were saying. The dispensary system that Measure 74 would create is not like in California. In California, it's largely unregulated. It's regulated in some counties and some cities, but this would be a statewide regulated supply system.
A more centrally controlled dispensary system than
No,
California
it's somewhere
is.
centrally but it is
Centrally
regulated.
regulated,
Regulated statewide.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough.
My name is Leland Berger. I'm a lawyer. I live and work in Northeast Portland. I practice statewide representing patients and their providers. I've been practicing for 27 years. I'm the, well, you know, Tim, since you brought it up, I'm the father of a 22-year-old who is a heroin addict in recovery. His mom was an alcoholic who drank herself to death. My wife, the current wife, is a death penalty lawyer who also practices statewide. I am on the NORML Legal Committee. I serve as the chair of the amicus committee for NORML, which is the part of NORML that files briefs in appellate cases. I serve on the board of legal advisors of Americans for Safe Access, which is a national group that is committed to safe access for patients, medical marijuana patients. And I'm also the chair of the Oregon Criminal Defense Lawyers Legislative Subcommittee on Drug Policy. So those are the different hats that I wear. Tonight and I was actually, since I see Robin in the front row, I was legal counsel for Voter Power I was one of the founders, and I was affiliated with them for about 10 years until about a year and a half ago. So my involvement specifically in this initiative derives in part from being a part of that organization as well.
Thank you, Lee Berger. Erik Fisher, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm the program sergeant for drug enforcement section for the Oregon State Police. I've been employed with Oregon State Police since January of '99. I have about a 6.5-year field experience working narcotics at the street level and then again at the federal level as a federal task force officer. And now I'm the program sergeant at a headquarters.
All right, thank you. And Leslie Wilde from Dunsmuir, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, my name's Leslie Wilde, and I do own and operate a dispensary in Dunsmuir, California. I've been open for about 1 year, and I did also attend the Oaksterdam University in Oakland, California, that's run by Don Lee, who sponsored Proposition 19, California's Tax and Control Act.
Okay, let's get the nerves out early, Leslie, with you, because I know that one of the first things I wrote on top of my list is, what is Oaksterdam? It seems like that name gets bandied about a lot in connection with Prop 19. Can you explain it for those of us who don't know?
Sure. Oaksterdam is it's a university in Oakland, California, and there's a lot of dispensaries in this neighborhood, so it's called Oaksterdam, like Amsterdam, kind of. And in Don Lee it's a man named Don Lee. He was a... Richard. Oh, sorry. You're right. My bad. Richard Lee. I have a friend named Don Lee. Richard Lee